Hello everyone, I'm Terry Nealey, your 16th District State Representative. Thank you for joining me on Legislative Update. We have reached the halfway point of the scheduled 105-day session and are still working to address major two budgets of different fiscal cycles. The first budget is for the final 4 months of the 2009-11 budget cycle, which ends June 30th. We recently took our second vote of the year on this budget to reduce a $600 million shortfall. I voted against House Bill 1086 when it was before the House in January, and again on February 18th. And here's why. It makes deep cuts to education while preserving funding for failing and costly social programs. I'm very concerned this budget rescinds funding for reduction of kindergarten through 4th grade, K4, class sizes, and it does it retroactively to September 2010. This is money already allocated and spent by schools. Now through this bill, the legislature pulls the rug out from under them retroactively. Also, this budget measure only addressed $360 million of the shortfall, leaving a $240 million gap to still be addressed. I supported an alternative solution that would have prioritized education and offered reform through the elimination of failing and costly programs. Unfortunately, that amendment was rejected. While I'm concerned about the supplemental budget that was passed into law, my greatest concern is on the 2011-2013 budget still to be addressed. It's projected to have an enormous budget hole of more than $5.7 billion. I'm not sure if people truly comprehend how large and deep that is. It means we're going to have to make some serious and difficult decisions in the legislature to put our state back on the road of fiscal responsibility. There are only two ways for government to deal with the budget problem: raise taxes or cut spending. Raising taxes, in my view, is not an option. The voters were very clear in November when they rescinded tax increases and voted to reinstate an initiative to make it harder for the legislature to raise taxes. Furthermore, additional taxes on our already fragile businesses will just make our economic situation worse. That leaves only one other way to fix our budget mess: cut spending. Many state lawmakers are getting lobbied hard from public employees and their unions who are saying, "Don't cut my program, don't reduce my salary, don't reduce or eliminate my benefits, cut elsewhere, but don't cut me." I think everyone who receives a state paycheck is going to have to make it necessary sacrifices if we are to close this enormous budget hole. That includes everyone from the governor, the legislature, and both union and non-union public employees. Massive shortfalls require flexibility and courageous reforms. It doesn't mean we abandon our principles in fiscal crises. Instead, we should set priorities in the budget that uphold our values. I believe those top priorities should be education, public safety, and protection of the state's most vulnerable citizens. Following that, every state expense should be placed on the conference table for review. If a program does not fall within these priorities, we should ask, is it really needed? And if it is needed, can it be done in a more cost-effective way? The reality is state government can no longer afford business as usual. We need to use this time as an opportunity to prioritize, reset, and adjust state government to economic realities. As we set budgets, one thing we also need to keep in mind are our young people. I'm pleased to have two of them here who are serving as pages in the legislature. I'd like to introduce Connor and Alicia Boucher of Walla Walla. Thank you very much for helping us out this week. If you would like to learn more about our legislative page program, I invite you to visit my website. You'll see the address on your screen. Thank you for joining me on Legislative Update. I'm your State Representative, Terry Nealey.